Hello everyone and welcome back to the Auburn University RFID Lab. I am Justin Patton and here is a year in review for 2017. So a lot of things happened this year. One is new staff. We expanded the staff in the lab to include a permanent postdoc position that's focused on some of the robotics and automation work with Dr. John Zhang and his crew. We also added in Henry Burge, who is helping a lot with lab operations and also with a lot of the new grant stuff that we're doing currently. And then finally, we've looked at adding a full-time admin position that we're expanding out into this next year as well. With that new staff, we've created a grant team, and this has been very successful. This is taking some of the current graduate students and the postdoc students that we have down in the lab and pairing them up with some of the expertise that we have through Henry and his team in terms of filing the grants and putting together a lot of the proposals and things like that, and then partnering with some of the faculty on campus. So we've written a whole stack of grants this year. We've had a few papers published. There's more to come. That's been very good, and we hope to expand that model in the next year. Next, blockchain has been a big focus all throughout the year. It was a lot quieter at the beginning of 2017. It definitely went out at the end of 2017 to early 2018 with a bang. You can't turn on the news without hearing everything about blockchain these days. We have been focusing on it more specifically from serialized item tracking through the supply chain. So less of the financial and cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all that stuff, and more specifically focused on how can we use this to transfer custody of items throughout the supply chain. Another big project for this past year has been the Advanced Retail Store project. It's kind of a mouthful, so we've simplified it and shortened, just called it a Project Comet. Comet is essentially a framework for understanding and creating metrics that we're trying to improve from a retail store experience, as well as process flow diagrams and store layout maps. So this is the question that we get asked all the time is, if I'm trying to increase or improve the customer experience in a store by knowledge of product or time to shop or whatever, what new technology can I layer into the store to help with that? How does that change the existing processes and all the interconnectedness between those processes in the store? And then also, how can we change the store layout itself? When we have all those things together, what Common is doing is we can use it as kind of a theoretical framework for lots of different models for how we're changing new stores with new technologies. And then finally, we're taking some of these concepts with Comet, we're building them out for some new store shopping experience concepts in the lab. So this is more of a radical redesign of stores from the ground up, and we hope to see more of that in 2018 as well. Project Zipper, this is started in the beginning of last year. We really started collecting data full force mid-year, and we are working on finalizing the first paper now, and then we're moving into phase 2 of Zipper going forward. Zipper is essentially a data exchange research project. We have 8 retail brand partners, and we have 4 retailers. What we're doing is we're scanning the EPCs outbound from the DC, from the brand partners. We're scanning those EPCs on items inbound into the retail partners, and we're matching them up. So if everything matches up, then what we end up with is a serialized item data transfer from partner to partner. This allows us to do things like outbound accuracy, inbound accuracy. It has a huge impact on claims and shrink. And we can also use that for anti-counterfeiting, authenticity, gray market. There's a whole stack of use cases behind that. Step 1 of that was to prove that it's feasible and we can do it. And we are focused on publishing that first paper out right now. So you'll see some of that soon. And then we've got several partners that are moving into phase 2 of data collection now. So more in 2018 on that. Aviation has been a big expansion area this last year. Mainly we started with more of a technical focus. We had a request from some of the airframe manufacturers and the airlines to do some data conformance certification. The airline tags are a little bit longer and have higher memory requirements than what we normally see on retail products. There was a need for someone to do a little bit of checking their work to make sure that all the brands were getting the data correctly on the tagged items that they were sending to the airframe manufacturers. And we started a program to certify that accuracy. That quickly expanded into partnerships with several different airframe manufacturers and some of the aircraft standards groups like IATA and ATA and some of the others. And then finally it culminated in a gift from Delta Airlines for $2 million to the RFID Lab This is a transformative gift. This has a huge impact on the lab. We're in the process of building out the Delta Aviation Bay on one side of the lab, and this is being used to fund a lot of the research and some of the much needed industry standards development and industry collaboration work to make sure that we can drive broader adoption for RFID tagging throughout aircraft operations, especially in commercial aviation. Upcoming in this next year, I've kind of touched on a few of these things in the past, but Zipper Phase 2, Zipper's getting bigger, more people, more data. We're getting a better laser focus on what it is that we're trying to scan for, and then also a lot of the DCs are getting much better at targeting their EPC data and retrieving and sending that data back to us. So moving into Phase 2 of that now, we're actually already starting to collect some data. New paper hopefully later this year. Blockchain has become a focus not just of the board meetings, but we have a group of retailers and retail brand owners that are meeting for the first time independently to start discussing how we can start applying this back to our serialized supply chain tracking. So more to come on that in March. Aerospace, we have several papers that are forthcoming. We have some that are focusing on use case and business case, and then also some revisions to the existing standards and specs. So that's very good. And finally, throughout this 2018, one of the biggest requests and focus that we've been getting is adding in new technologies. RFID is a large family of technologies, but more and more we're finding requests to start layering in a lot of different types of tech. We've talked about this in the past. Computer vision is a big one. BLE is a big one. There's lots of types of identification technology that are out there that need to work together as kind of a holistic solution. Whether we're talking about retail, whether we're talking about manufacturing, whether we're talking about aerospace, it doesn't matter. But as we're seeing this move forward, we're seeing more of a focus on a full solution stack rather than just a specific targeted technology solution. And that's good. That's a sign of maturity, and it's a sign that things are moving forward. So, in a nutshell, that's 2017, moving into 2018. Thank you very much for your time, and as always, if you'd like to come to the lab, please reach out and contact us. We'll be happy to set up a tour, set up some time to meet with you, and then I may see you at RFID General Line in April, if not down here before then. So thank you all, and see you next time.